this is really cool. When you and I are in the parks together, we do this a lot. And we book lightning lanes for rides that are currently down.
You're listening to Castle Talk Radio. We're live on the airwaves with Becca and Jessica. Now let's jump into this week's episode.
Jessica, we consider ourselves Disneyland Insiders, and a lot of people consider themselves that. But one thing I love about you and I and some of our other friends is that we aren't locals. So when we're insiders as far as someone that's traveling down, not there just for a couple hours, but we do it more like families that are traveling. So I feel like our insider tips are like top notch for those visiting Disneyland on a family vacation. And I thought today we could tell them some of the things that insiders do differently inside of the parks. And that way it can help them out on their Disneyland vacation. Sound good?
That sounds perfect.
I want to give a few, and then we're going to have a freebie with even more of the things we do differently. And you can get that at castletalkradio.com, and you just click on freebies, and we'll be there with the option. We'll have all our freebies there, but you find the one that you want or multiples that you want. And this one will be a longer list with more details and links to articles if you want to learn more. What is your first thing that you think insiders do differently?
Well, I'm going to say one that's a little obscure, but it is getting the best pictures in the parks. Now, a lot of people love to get that castle photo, and that's super important. But if you just make one minor switch, which means you move your body to the right or to the left of the castle, you can get a castle picture with less or no one in the background instead of standing like right in the middle.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of my favorite tips. And one of the articles we'll link out to is my list of other picture places to take. And if you really, really, really want that in the middle of the castle picture without a ton of people in it, there are 2 times a day you could do that. One is the early morning. So usually if you have early entry, that's the best time to really do it. If you don't have early entry though, usually within that first hour of rope drop, it's pretty crowded. The second time though is when they block off the castle area for fireworks. There'll be a rope up, and they'll still have you be able to go and get your PhotoPass photos up there at the rope for a little bit as you're waiting for the fireworks to start. So that is the other time that you can do that. So that's a great one. I love that because we all want that amazing picture, but we don't want a million heads like coming out from behind our shoulders and getting photobombed by a bunch of people. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and say my first one is that I think they need to go in with a general plan. Like they don't just go in and be like, oh, what are we going to do today? And this is something specific for those that aren't local, because local people, a lot of times they're just like, oh, I'm going to go in and walk around and figure out what I want to do. But when you are going on vacation and you're a Disneyland Insider, you have a general plan. You know what you're trying to head to first for rope drop, or you know the rides that you're trying to get in that day. So that's a big one. And of course, we can help them out with that. We have a couple of early entry strategies they can get for free on that freebie page, but also you have some park plans that they can get and use those to help plan their day. In fact, you even have a DIY bundle if you don't want one that's totally done for you. You're like a hands-on person.
You definitely need a general plan. And I say general because you need to have room for flexibility. You don't want like a military precision plan and itinerary because it's going to change. It's going to fluctuate based on ride downtimes. Maybe you walk by and see some of your favorite characters and you want to hop in line and meet them. All of that should be happening on your vacation, those spontaneous things. Or, wow, that churro was really good. I need another one at the next churro spot. So the general plans and the park plans that I have on my website are meant for those type of things. It's going to give you step-by-step rides in optimal order, but also allow for that flexibility.
Yes, I love that about your plans. They're not like a minute by minute like some plans are, and they definitely allow for flexibility while still maximizing your time in the parks. What's another one?
Well, we're definitely not going to pay Disneyland's prices for tickets because that is too much. And even if it's a couple dollars too much, it is too much. We get ours at getawaytoday.com/castle talk. And yes, I am buying my tickets there. Another thing that I do with those tickets is I pre-purchase Lightning Lane. So Lightning Lane is demand-based. It can fluctuate. And I want to pay as little as possible. So I just lock it in, buy it with my discount tickets, and then I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Another thing I want to throw in there is because someone might be going, pre-purchase Lightning Lane. I don't think that's how it works. Lightning Lane is now well, it used to be called Genie Plus, and now Disney has renamed it to make it a little, hopefully less confusing, but at the same time, it's more confusing because it's name change, and it will now be called Lightning Lane MultiPass for that. And then there's also individual Lightning Lanes. Those you cannot pre-purchase, but the MultiPass you can pre-purchase, and you'll lock in that lower price that is not demand based, whereas it will be if you purchase it day by day. So that leads me to another thing that insiders do differently is we keep up on the changes and the Disneyland news. And that can be a lot. And that's why we are here for you, so that you don't have to watch the Disney parks blog and Twitter and all of that like crazy. We try to stay on top of that for you guys so that you can still be an insider without having Disney be taking up all of your day.
Oh, yeah. And it's easy to do, especially being someone in that space. And a lot of times when people are sharing like breaking Disney news, sometimes they're sharing it under that news umbrella, but it's actually just like, oh, they modified something today, but tomorrow it's not going to be that way. So it's like not worth the space in your brain to memorize one thing and expect it when you come in a couple months and it's totally different. So again, I think our websites are great resources to have things that are going to impact your vacation and not necessarily things that are just interesting but could change.
Yeah. Or clickbait, because there are some of those sites
Definitely.
that are very clickbaity. Okay, we talked about Lightning Lane. And so I want to get into this one. This is really cool. When you and I are in the parks together, we do this a lot. And we book Lightning Lanes for rides that are currently down. Do you want to explain why we do that, Jessica?
Yeah, especially if they have a return time window that is approaching very quickly, because those Lightning Lanes then turn into a multi experience, which means that you'll be able to use it on a ride of your choice within the listed guidelines later on. And it's no longer restricted to that time frame. So it's kind of like a free Lightning Lane to use later on. And then again, there are some attractions you can use it on that don't typically have Lightning Lane.
Yeah, and it's really easy within the app. There'll be a spot on your multi-experience pass that says, what can I use this on? And you'll just click on that and it'll give you a list. Normally it's not good for the ones that have individual Lightning Lanes unless it came from one of those. And it's not good for usually Peter Pan and a few others, but it's really nice to get those and build them up. And so sometimes we'll do that and we'll just rebook it as soon as we get that multi-experience over and over and over. And so that is something that insiders do differently, but it's not like super public. So it's a great option.
I want to add to that one, even if you don't quite understand what we just said, you probably understand that if a ride is down, you can book a Lightning Lane. Then you'll see what happens. It'll prompt you on the app and tell you later if it turns into something that you can use it on. But that's the key, is just knowing that if the ride is down, go ahead and book it. And it usually turns out in your favor later on. So another thing that we definitely do differently is mobile ordering food. There was a day and time when Disney was giving away free buttons saying that you mobile ordered at this place because they were trying to get people to show other people that mobile ordering was a thing. And it worked great and everybody's using it, but it is not something that is crazy to use or kind of get those times, but it saves you so much time and ease when you just put your order in on the phone, Let everybody place what they want, customize their meals, and then pick it up during your time slot.
Yeah, and I think it was in our Toxic Disney Traits episode that I said I will mobile order even if the standby line is shorter, just because it already applies your discounts and you don't have to get out the card and you can just wait at your table until it's ready. So, yeah, I'm definitely mobile ordering is the way to go. Jessica, I'm going to mention one that I do, but I don't notice you doing very much. And that is bringing in a reusable water bottle. I carry mine like crazy and refill it at the filtered refill stations, or I get ice waters from restaurants and fill it up. I don't ever see you. I always worry that you're going to pass out from dehydration when we're there in the heat because I never see you carrying a water bottle. I'm like, Jessica.
It's true. Partially is because I don't have one that I love. And second, wait, and also the water refill stations have lines and they're so slow. But the water, if you are buying a water bottle, it's expensive. They're like $8 or something insane. Whenever I go to a quick service, I get water and I try to alternate between like water and a different drink. Did you know that also milk is more hydrating than water? Apparently, and I got a milk. So last time I was there, I got the famous chocolate chip cookies at Harbor Galley, which are so delicious. They taste just like Nestle Toll House, but like they're delicious. So I got those and I got a carton of milk. I had already finished the cookies and I was chugging on this carton of milk and go into a store and the cast member says, "Are you drinking milk?" And he was just making fun of me because, like, what adult walks around Disneyland, like, drinking milk? And it was so hot outside, too, so you're like, ew, that's so gross. But that will work. I definitely make hydration a priority, but I just don't carry water bottles around, so maybe I'm no longer an insider.
You're not. No. The main thing is that we try not to buy all our water in the park. For most of us, that does mean carrying around a reusable water bottle. But for Jessica, it just means that she buys drinks or water, gets free ice water at the restaurants. So don't be going and buying those bottles of water because they are
Or buy
expensive.
one and then refill that one.
Fill it. Yes, that works too. Okay, Jessica, give me one more.
All right. We are going to go with insiders generally don't skip rope drop, or they're going to plan to stay late so that they can get in more rides.
Yeah. I mean, there are the people that really just, they are not morning people. They are not going to wake up. But those people know that and they plan to do the late because they're obviously, I still think rope drop's the best. I get way more done there usually, but you still can get a lot done in those late night hours after fireworks if you stay long enough. And so insiders really choose to do one of those. And the real troopers choose to do both and go back and take a midday break if they need it, or there are some people that do open to close. I'm just getting too old for that. I cannot do that anymore.
For sure, especially when it's like 8 a.m. to midnight. That's a long, long day.
That definitely is. All right. I think that's all we have time for. But again, we'll have more of those tips in that freebie at castletalkradio.com. Just go there, click on freebies, and choose that and any other freebies that you want to be delivered straight to your inbox. And we'll see you real soon.